Hello everyone. Thank you for joining this live session. Okay. And welcome to the today's live session on Microsoft Azure Cloud Fundamentals. My name is Vishnuvardhan and I am excited to guide you through the basics of Azure today. Whether you are preparing for the AZ-900 certification exam or just want to understand cloud computing, this session will provide you with valuable insights. Let me share my screen. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to you. Throughout this live stream, feel free to ask questions in the chat and I will make sure to address them either during the session or at the end. Let's make this as interactive as possible. Today, we are covering fundamental cloud concepts, exploring core Azure services, understanding security and privacy in Azure, and discussing Azure's pricing models and service level agreements. We'll also go over some best practices and management tools that are essential in Azure. So the first one is what the cloud concepts. So what exactly is cloud computing? In simple terms, cloud computing allows you to store and access data, applications, and services over the internet rather than on a local server or your personal computer. It offers scalable resources that can be adjusted as per your needs, eliminating the need for upfront investment in physical hardware. Cloud computing provides resources as services. You only pay for what you use, and you don't need to worry about maintaining the infrastructure. So, types of cloud deployment models are the first one is public cloud. In a public cloud model, all hardware, storage, and network infrastructure are owned and managed by a third-party cloud provider like Microsoft Azure. You share the hardware with other organizations, but each tenant's data and applications are securely isolated. For example, a startup running its website on Azure, paying only for the resources they consume without managing services. And the second one is private cloud. Private cloud is used exclusively by a single organization. It can be hosted on premises or by a third party provider. It offers more control but also requires more management. For example, a bank may prefer a private cloud to ensure sensitive customer data is stored securely with full control. And the final one is hybrid cloud. This model combines private and public and private clouds, allowing data and applications to be shared between them. It provides flexibility and optimized workloads. For example, a company might keep sensitive data on premises while leveraging the public cloud for less critical workloads. And the benefits of cloud computing are scalability. You can scale resources up or down based on demand. For instance, if your app receives more traffic, Azure will automatically allocate more resources. Elasticity. Elasticity is about being able to expand or reduce resources dynamically as per usage. Think of as rubber band. Sketch it when you need more. Relax when you need less. And high availability. Cloud services ensure that your applications and data are always available, even in the event of hardware failures. And the final one is cost efficiency. You only pay for what you use. If your traffic spikes, you will pay for the additional resources. But if it drops, your cost will decrease too. So, Azure Compute Services. The first one is virtual missions. Azure Virtual Missions allow you to create and manage virtual missions on demand. And you can choose the size, region, and operating system of the VM, which gives you a lot of flexibility. For example, let's say you need a Linux server for an application. Instead of purchasing physical hardware, you can create a VM on Azure in just a few minutes. And second one is Azure App Services. These are all the core Azure services that I am mentioning. And the Azure App Services are let you it will let you build, deploy, and scale web apps without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. It's great for developers who want to focus on writing code, not managing servers. Example, developers creating a web app for an e-commerce platform can use app services to host it with minimal hassle. Now, platform as a service versus software as a service. We will know the difference between that. First, we will look on to the platform as a service. So, platform as a service gives developers a platform to build and deploy applications without worrying about the underlying hardware or software maintenance. Example, Azure App Services or Azure Functions allow you to write and deploy code quickly without managing infrastructure. So, if we come into the software as a service, it is when you use software or the internet without managing the infrastructure. Office 365 and Gmail are good examples of SaaS. That means software as a service. For example, you just log in and start using the software. No installation or updates are required. So let's go to if we see other Azure services, they are Azure Kubernetes services. It was called by AKS. Azure Kubernetes service is a fully managed Kubernetes service for running containerized applications. And the next one is Azure Storage. Azure provides scalable storage solutions for data, whether it's blob files or tables. You can store large amounts of unstructured data. So the next one is security, privacy, compliance, and trust. Yeah. If we look into the screen, these are all we just discussed. And furthermore, let's look into the security in Azure. Security is shared responsibility in the cloud. Azure provides security features to help protect your data. And yeah, but you are also responsible for configuring your systems correctly. And Azure Security Center. Azure Security Center helps you monitor your cloud resources for security issues. It just provides recommendations and threat alerts based on the latest security practices. And Azure Firewall. Azure Firewall is a fully stateful firewall as a service, providing network level protection for Azure virtual networks. And the next one is authentication and authorization. Authentication verifies the identity of a user, and authorization determines what that user is allowed to do. And the second one in the authentication and authorization is Azure Active Dictionary, that it is called as Azure AD. Azure AD provides identity and access management to control who can access resources. It supports single sign-on and multi-factor authentication to protect identities. The next one is compliance. Azure complies with a wide range of international and industry-specific compliance standards like ISO, IEC, and GDPR, ensuring your data is handled in accordance with the highest standards. Now, the Azure pricing and SLAs. Azure pricing models as pay as you go. The most popular model is pay as you go, where you are charged only for the resources you use. For example, if you spin up a VM for 10 hours, you only pay for those 10 hours. That's it. The next one is reserved instances. Azure offers discounts if you commit to using certain services for 1 or 3 years. This is called as reserved instance and can save up to 70% compared to pay as you go pricing. And the next one is cost management tools. Azure cost management tools helps you monitor and control your spending. You can set budgets and view historical data for better manage your resources. And the next one is service level agreements, which is called SLAs. Azure guarantees different levels of availability depending on the service. For instance, Azure VMs means virtual machines, come with a 99.9% uptime guarantee. Understanding SLAs is a crucial for business to ensure the application meet performance requirements. And the next one is scalability and availability. Yeah, if you look into the scalability and Azure, first one is vertical scaling. Vertical scaling or upscaling means adding more resources to a single virtual machine. For example, increasing the RAM or CPU. RAM or CPU on a server. And the next one is horizontal scaling. Horizontal scaling or scaling out involves adding more servers to handle increased traffic. This is what companies like Netflix do to handle high traffic volumes. And high availability and fault tolerance. False tolerance. So we already discussed about the scalability. So just look at some points that I have discussed. And the next one is high availability and fault tolerance. Availability zones and reasons. Azure provides availability zones and reasons to ensure high availability. Each region contains multiple data centers and services can be replicated across regions for redundancy. And the next one is false tolerance. If one complaint fails, Azure false fault tolerance ensures that the system continues operating by switching up a backup component. This minimizes downtime. And we already discussed about false tolerance and disaster recovery. So we can able to see the economies of scale and capital expenditure and operation expenditure. If we look into the economics of scale is a ability to do things more efficiently or at a lower cost per unit when operating at a larger scale. Example, the ability to acquire hardware at a lowest cost than if a single user or smaller business were purchasing it. Providers can also make deals with the local governments and utilities to get tax savings, lower pricing on power, cooling, and high-speed network connectivity between sites. And the next one is capital expenditure. CapEx is the spending of money on physical infrastructure upfront and then deducting that expense from your tax bill over time. CapEx is an upfront cost which has a value that reduces over time. And the next one is operational expenditure. OPEX is spending money on services or products now and being billed for them now. You can deduct this expense from your tax bill in the same year. There is no upfront cost. You pay for a service or product, you can use it. And pay as you go. This is the most lubricative benefit of cloud. With cloud, you pay only for what you use. If you are not in the need of resources, you can free them or deallocate them and you are not charged for it. The billing is absolutely per minute billing, giving you more saving on cost. Moving from capex to opex. This stands for moving from capital expenditure to operational expenditure. Companies today don't wish to invest on hardware is changing at rapid pace. Therefore, instead of investing on hardware cost, which may become obsolete after certain time span, they are more interested and willing to pay operational cost on monthly, yearly basis. This is nothing but the capex to opex. Microsoft, yeah, this is nothing but a capex to opex. As Microsoft Azure being pay as you go model, it becomes easy to move from capex to opex. And the next one is fault tolerance. And the next one is fault tolerance. It is the ability of the system to continue operating in full capacity and full functioning in the event of failure of some of its components. This simply means if I have a web application and interacting with database, then if the database is not accessible, still may web application will be available for users. This means your application is fault tolerant. Microsoft Azure applies various replication and redundancy strategies to make Azure hosted services and applications as fault tolerant. So how to achieve zero downtime in cloud service deployments during upgrades and all hardware failures. So you have to run at least two instances for each role within a cloud service. When we have two or more instances running for a role in cloud service, then automatically the deployment gets distributed across different fault and upgrade domains and achieves most or near to zero downtime. So, as I already discussed, that infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Infrastructure as a service is the most flexible category of cloud services. It aims to give you complete control over the hardware that runs your application, like IT infrastructure, services, and virtual machines, storage, networks, and operating systems. Instead of buying hardware with LAS, you rent it. It's an instant computing infrastructure, provisionized and managed over the internet. The next one is platform as a service. Platform as a service provides an environment for building, testing, and deployment software applications. The goal of platform as a service is to help you create an application quickly without managing the underlying infrastructure. For example, when deploying a web application using PaaS, that means platform as service, you don't have to install an operating system, web server, or even system updates. PaaS is a complete development and deployment environment in the cloud. And next one is software as a service. SaaS is a software that is centrally hosted and managed for the end customer. It is usually based on an architecture where one version of the application is used for all customers and licensed through a monthly or annual subscription. Office 365, Skype, and Dynamics CRM Online are perfect examples of SaaS software. So, what is LAAS, what is PaaS, and what is SaaS? We are all discussed about it. So, if we go to briefly about them, if we go more brief, a set of infrastructure level capabilities such as operating system, networking connectivity, and what are delivered as you pay use services and can be hosted or host applications. This is this is infrastructure as a service. For example, Azure VM, that means Azure Virtual Machine or PNet. So next one is platform as a service. It is about abstracting developers from the underlying infrastructure to enable applications to quickly be composed. This is specifically for developers who are willing to build applications without worrying about management of hosting environment at all. For example, Azure Cloud Services, Azure Web Apps, Storage, SQL Azure Database, and so on. The next one is final one is software as a service. The applications that are delivered using a service delivery model where organizations can simply consume and use the application. Typically, an organization would pay for the use of application or the application could be monetized through ad revenue. Example Office 365, Gmail, Salesforce.com, SharePoint Online, CRM Online, and so on. So you can see the this map here, this mind map. So you can able to see the separation of responsibilities. Let me hold on a second. So the next one is public cloud, and the most common. It is the most common. This is the most common deployment model. In this case, you have no local hardware. Yeah, you have no local hardware to manage or keep up to date. Everything runs on your cloud provider's hardware. The second one is private cloud. It is the uh, second most common. In a private cloud, you create a cloud environment in own data center and provide self-service access to computer resources to users in your organization. The next one is hybrid cloud. The hybrid cloud is a stepping stone to cloud segmenting work and cloud bursting. A hybrid cloud combines public and private clouds, allowing you to run your applications in the most appropriate location. A hybrid cloud combines public and private clouds, allowing you to run your application. So it is the cloud computing is basically a great level of abstraction over the infrastructure that can help you to focus more on your business logic without having to worry about hosting or infrastructure needs. This is the general term used for delivering the hosted service over the internet. In cloud computing, the computing resources are providing as a service. Cloud computing provides you computing resources as a service where you don't have to focus on infrastructure requirements such as follows. The first one is cloud services, and second one is Azure Web Apps, and third one is Azure Virtual Machines. The main details provided: services, hardware with server OS for various environments like dev, QA, and UAT, production, failover. The second one is database servers and license, and source control and version management servers and license. Dedicated office space, power and cooling mechanism, network and bandwidth configurations and setup, developer workstations with client OS like Windows 7, 8, or 8.1 or 10 and their licenses. And developer looks like Visual Studio and SSMS and on so on. And finally, teams of experts to manage this entire setup. And there are so many benefits. If we look into the benefits, it is more cost effective. As I said, it is pay as you go, consumption based on pricing model. Rather than paying for hardware upfront, you rent hardware and pay for the resources that you use. And it is scalable. Increase or decrease the resources and services used based on the demand or workload at any given time. And it is elastic. Automatically add or remove resources based on demand. And current. Compute hardware and software is automatically maintained by the cloud provider. And it is reliable. Cloud providers offer data backup, disaster recovery, and data replication services. Redundancy is often built into cloud service architecture. So if one component fails, a backup component take as its place. And the next one is global. Cloud providers have fully redundant data centers located in various regions all over the globe. Performance, redundancy, and compliance. Secure. Cloud providers offer a secure, broad set of policies, technologies, controls, and technical skills that can provide better security than most organizations can otherwise achieve. Understand core Azure services. So to understand core as architectural component, you can able to describe reasons, describe availability zones and resources groups, Azure Resources Manager, and benefits and uses. And we can describe some of the core products available in Azure, such as we can able to compute the virtual machine scale sets, app service, and functions. And you can able and the products will be available for networking such as virtual network, load balancer, VPN gateway, application gateway, and content delivery network. And the storage such as blob storage, disk storage, file storage, and archive storage. And we can able to describe the databases such as Cosmos DB, Azure SQL database, Azure database migration service, and these are all things. And we can able to describe some of the solutions available in Azure, like Internet of Things and big data analytics, data lake, and artificial intelligence, and serverless computing. And we can see furthermore. So, what is Azure Cloud Service? Azure Cloud Service is an offering from Azure and specifically designed for hosting web applications, background processing applications. It was similar to traditional Windows service applications. And Azure LAS workloads means virtual machines. Cloud service in Azure is a container which application runs. The web application in cloud service is termed as web role, whereas background processing applications are termed as a worker role. Every cloud service created uh, every cloud service created from Azure provides you a DNS name such as your cloud service name dot cloudapp.net. This DNS name is used for accessing web applications over internet. An Azure subscription can contain any number of cloud services, and one cloud service can contain any number of roles. Each role each role can run any number of instances, and on which actual applications executes. To develop an application cloud service roles where we need Azure SDK. Using uh, Azure SDK, one can create cloud service which type of project from tools such as Visual Studio or IntelliJ IDEA for Java. So, what is the main role for Azure Cloud Services? By creating a cloud service, you can deploy a multi-tier web application in Azure, and you can deploy multi-tier web application in Azure and define models, multiple roles to distribute processing and allow flexible scaling for your applications. A cloud service consists of one or more web roles or worker roles, each with its own application files and configuration. So, Azure websites and virtual machines are also enable web applications on Azure. The main advantage of Azure's cloud services is the ability to support more complex multi-tier architectures. So, the main key services which are used to manage resources in Azure are Application Insights, Azure Portal, Azure Resource Manager, Log Analytics. And what are the three main components of Windows Azure platform? They are compute, storage, and app fabric. These are the three main components. So if we look at the geography, like America, Europe, Asia, Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. An Azure geography is a discrete market typically containing two or more regions that preserve data residency and compliance boundaries. If we look into the reason wise, a region is a geographical area on a planet containing at least one but potentially multiple data centers that are nearby and network together with a low latency network. And the next one is availability zone. Availability zones are physically separate data centers within an Azure region. Each availability zone is made up of one or more data centers equipped with independent power, cooling, and network. Availability datasets. Availability datasets comprise of update and fault domains. And when a maintenance event occurs, the update is sequenced through data update domains. Fault domains provides for the physical separation of a workload across different hardware in the data center. If we look at the hierarchy, first one is geography. The afterward it follows the reason for it follows availability zone, availability set, and fault domain or update domain. And the reason pair. Each Azure region is always paired with other region within the same geography, such as US, Europe, or Asia, at least 300 miles away. This approach allows for the replication of resources, such as virtual machine storage, across a geography that helps reduce the likelihood of interruptions due to events such as natural disasters, civil unrest, power outages, or physical network outages, affecting both regions at once. So, the resource group are the fundamental element of the Azure platform. A resource group is a logical container for resources deployed in Azure. Azure Resource Manager is the interface for managing and organizing cloud resources. Think of Resource Manager as a way to deploy cloud resources. And what is Azure Resource Manager and what are benefits of ARM? Let's see in this slide. So Azure Resource Manager, ARM, is a deployment methodology strategy to deploy your Azure components in Azure. It acts like container of multiple resources. However, it can span across regions and services. It is template driven, declarative, and idempotent in nature. So, if you look into this slide, following are the benefits of using Azure Resource Manager over classic services, which are cloud services. You can deploy, manage, and monitor all of the resources for your solution as a group rather than handling these resources individually. You can repeatedly deploy your solutions throughout the development lifecycle and have confidence your resources are deployed in a consistent state. You can use declarative templates to define your deployment, and you can also define the dependencies between resources so that they are deployed in the correct order. You can apply access control to all the services in the resource group because role based access control is natively integrated into the management platform. So you can apply tags to resources to logically organize all of the resources in your subscription. And also, finally, you can clarify billing for your organization by viewing the rolled up costs for the entire group or for a group of resources sharing the same tag. So you can look if you look into the slide, you can see the different virtual missions, scale sets, and app service and Azure functions. So you can see about computing and it is networking. In networking also you can see about virtual network, load balancer, VPN gateway, application gateway, and content delivery network, which was already discussed in the previous slides. So if we look at the storage, it is Bob storage and disk storage, file storage, and Azure storage. These are all the different types of storages which we covered in the previous slides. In database, you can be able to see different types of databases. It is Cosmos database, Azure SQL database, Azure database migration service, and Azure SQL data warehouse. And you can see different types of technologies which was used, which was Internet of Things. In Internet of Things, it was covered under which covers IoT Hub, IoT Central, IoT Edge. In big data and data analytics, SQL data warehouse, HD Insight, data lake analytics, and if we look into the artificial intelligence, Azure machine learning service, Azure machine learning studio. These are all the technologies we covered in the previous slide. So if we specifically look into the data analytics, it will in SQL data warehouse run analytics as a massive scale using a cloud-based enterprise data warehouse. It leverages massive parallel processing to run complex queries quickly across petabytes of data. In HD Insight, process massive amounts of data with managed clusters of Hadoop clusters in the cloud. If you look into the data lake analytics, on demand, pay as you go, scalable analytics service that allows you to write queries to transform your data and extract valuable insights. So let us look into the what is data, what is log analytics. Log analytics means OMS, formerly known by operational insights. In Azure, Azure gather all requirements in one single service and takes care of log analytics, automation, and availability and security at one single place. It provides single dashboard that gives all details of logs, IAS logs, storage, and other infrastructure log and capacity planning. So if we look into the app insights provide benefits. These are all the benefits that these app insights will provide. The first one is it will request rates, response times, and failure rates, dependency rates, response times, and failure rates, and exceptions, and page use and load performance, and Ajax calls from the web pages, rates, response times, and failure rates, and we can see the user and session counts and performance counters from Windows or Linux server missions, such as CPU, memory, and network storage. And you can able to host diagnostics from Azure, diagnostic trace logs from your app, so that you can correlate trace events with requests, and you can able to custom events and metrics that you can write yourself in the client or server code to track business events such as items sold or gains won. You can see about the details of serverless computing. If you observe in this table, they are Azure functions, logic caps, and event grid. And there are different types in it. Azure CLI is a cross-platform command line program that connects to Azure and executes administrative commands on Azure resources. Cross-platform means that it can be run on Windows or Linux or Mac OS. And the next one is PowerShell. Azure PowerShell is a module that you can add to Windows PowerShell or PowerShell core that enables you to connect to your Azure subscription and manage resources. The next one is Azure Portal. The Azure Portal is a website that you can access with the web browser by going to the URL. Uh, Let me highlight this URL. I think it's not possible here. So if we look into this URL, which was appear in this slide, From here, you can interact manually with all the Azure services. The portal is a web-based administration which site that lets you interact with all your subscriptions and resources you have created. And Azure Advisor is a free service built into Azure that provides recommendations on high availability, security, performance, and cost. Advisory analyzes your deployed services and looks for ways to improve your environment across those four areas. And let us understand security, privacy, and compliance and trust, which was will covers the 20 to 25% of the topic. So we can able to describe all of these things in the next slides. So Azure Firewall, Azure DDoS protection, network security group, Azure security solution, authentication and authorization. These are all the topics which are visible on the slide. Will be covering in further minutes. So if what is Azure Firewall? I think if you know about Azure Firewall, let me comment below. Actually, Azure Firewall is a managed cloud-based network security service that protects your that that will protect your Azure virtual network resources. It is a fully stateful firewall as a service with built-in high availability and unrestricted cloud scalability. Azure Firewall provides inbound protection for non-HTTP HTTPS protocols. Examples of non-HTTPS protocols include Remote Desk Protocol, which is called as RDP, and Secure Shell (SSH), and File Transfer Protocol (FTP). It also provides outbound network level protection for all ports and protocols, and application level protection for outbound HTTPS. And Azure DDoS protection leverages the scale and elasticity of Microsoft global network to bring DDoS mitigation capacity of every Azure region. The Azure DDoS protection service protects your Azure applications by scrubbing traffic at the Azure network edge before it can impact your services availability. Within a few minutes of attack detection, we are noticed using Azure Monitor Metrics and network security group, which was called as NSG. NSGs operate at layers 3 and 4 and provide a list of allowed and denied communication to and from network interfaces and subnets. NSGs are fully customizable and give you the ability to fully lock down network communication to and from your virtual machines. By using NSGs, you can isolate applications. You can isolate your applications between environments, types, and services. And authentication. It will know who you are. Authentication is the process of establishing the identity of a person or service looking to access a resource. It involves the act of challenging a party for legitimate credentials and provides the basics for creating a security principle for identity and access control use. It establishes if they are who they say they are. And next one is authorization. It means what are you allowed to do. Authorization is the process of establishing what level of access an authenticated person or service has. It specifies what data they are allowed to access and what they can do with it. I hope you are familiar with these two things, which is authentication and authorization. And Azure Active Dictionary, authentication, SOSSO, application management, these are all comes under this. Azure it is a cloud-based identity service. It is built-in support for synchronizing with your existing on-premises Active Dictionary or can be used as standalone. This means that all your applications, whether on-premises, in the cloud, including 365 or even mobile, can share the same credentials. Administrators and developers can control access to internal and external data and applications using centralized rules and policies configured in Azure AD. And authentication is single sign-on, application management, business-to-business identity services, and device management. And what is Azure Active Dictionary and how it is used? Actually, Microsoft offers Azure Active Dictionary, a fully managed multi-tenant service that implements identity and access capability for applications running in Azure as well as Applications operating in on-premises environment. It is used for providing single sign-on and multi-factor authentication to help users from protecting attacks. We have access to types of Azure resources. External resources such as Microsoft 365, the Azure protocol, and thousands of other SaaS applications. Internal resources such as apps on your corporate network and internet, along with any cloud apps developed by your own organization. You must create a new tenant for your organization in your Cloud Active Dictionary. For more details uh, about creating a tenant on your organization, you can see from these slides, which was the link appear on the slide. So, if you look at multi-factor authentication, it provides additional security for your identities by requiring two or more elements for full authentication. These elements fall into three categories. First one is something you know, for example, password. Second one is something you possess, example, mobile app. And third one is something you are, for example, fingerprint or face face cam. And security center is a monitoring service that provides threat protection across all of your services, both in Azure and on premises. Availability in two tiers, which are free and standard. Free is limited to assignments and recommendations only, and it is in standard version. Full suite of security related services including continuous monitoring, threat detection, and just-in-time access control. And in Azure Security Center uses scenarios, incident response, such as detect, access, and diagnosis, and implement recommendations. It will implement the recommendations. Azure Key Vault is a secret store, a centralized cloud service for storing application secrets. Key Vault helps you control your applications secrets by keeping them in a single central location and providing secure access, permissions control, and access logging. Microsoft Azure Information Protection, a cloud-based solution that helps organizations classify and optionally protect documents and emails by applying labels. Analyze data flows, detect risky behavior, track uh, track access to documents, prevent data leakage or misuse of confidential information. A cloud-based security solution that identifies, detects, and helps you investigate advanced threats, compromised identities, and malicious insider actions directed by at your organization. Azure ATP is capable of detecting known malicious attacks and techniques, security issues, and risk against your network. And Azure Policy is a service you can use to create, assign, and manage policies. These policies apply and enforce rules that your resources need to flow. These policies can enforce these rules which resources are created and can be evaluated against existing resources to give visibility into compliance. Initiatives work alongside like policies in Azure Policy. An initiative definition is a set of or a group of policy definitions to help track your compliance state for a larger goal. And the role-based access control (RBAC) provides fine-grained access management for Azure resources, enabling you to grant users the specific rights they need to perform their jobs. RBAC is considered as a core service and as it is integrated with all subscription levels at no cost. Resources looks are a setting that can be applied to any resource to block modification or deletion. Resource locks can set to either delete or read only. Delete will allow all operations against the resource, but block the ability to delete it. Read only will only allow read activities to be performed against it, blocking any modification or deletion of the resources. Resource logs can be applied to subscriptions, resource groups, and individual resources and are inherited when applied at higher levels. Azure Monitor maximizes the availability and performance of your applications by delivering a comprehensive solution for collecting, analyzing, and acting on telemetry from your cloud and on-premises environments. It helps you understand how your applications are performing and proactively identifies issues affecting them and the resources they depend on. Azure Service Health is a suite of experiences that provide personalized guidance and support when issues with Azure services affect you. It can notify you, help you understand the impact of issues, and keep you updated as the issue is resolved. Azure Service Health can also help you prepare for planned maintenance and changes that could affect the availability of your resources. As of May 25, 2018, a European Privacy Law (GDPR), which means General Data Protection Regulation, is in effect. The GDPR imposes new rules on companies, government agencies, non-profits, and other organizations that offers goods and services to people in the European Union, and that collect and analyze data tied to EU residents. The GDPR applies no matter where you are located. ISO or IEC 20118. Microsoft is the first cloud provider to have adopted the ISO IEC code for to practice covering the processing of personal information by cloud service providers. And NIST CSF is a voluntary framework that consists of standards, guidelines, and best practices to manage cybersecurity related risks. Microsoft Cloud Services that undergo independent third party federal risk and authorization management program moderate and high baseline audits and are certified according to the FedRAMP standards. Additionally, through a validated assignment performed by the Health Information Trust Alliance, a leading security and privacy standards development and accreditation organization, Office 365 is certified to the objectives specified in the NIST CSF. So, the Microsoft privacy statement explains what personal data Microsoft processes, how Microsoft processes it, and for what purposes. So, Trust Center is a website resource containing information and details about how Microsoft implements and supports security, privacy, compliance, and transparency in all Microsoft Cloud products and services. The Trust Center is an important part of the Microsoft resources and for the legal and compliance my community. Service Trust Portal. The Service Trust Portal (STP) hosts the Compliance Manager service and the Microsoft public site for publishing audit reports and other compliance-related information relevant to the Microsoft's cloud services. So up to now, we learned so many things. Now let's go through the pricing model of Microsoft Azure. So in this part, we can able to go with many topics like Azure subscription, options for purchasing Azure, options around Azure free account, factors and affecting costs, Jones price calculator. These will are the topics which we'll be covering during this time. So, what is an Azure account? An Azure account is tied to a specific identity and holds information like name, email, and contact references. Billing information such as a credit card. An Azure account is what you use to sign into the Azure website and administrator or deploy services. Every Azure account is associated with one or more subscriptions. So, what is Azure free account and what it will be use? It is a subset of Azure services free for 12 months and 750 VM hours and 5 GB storage, 250 GB SQL database, etc. It was costs up around $200 free credit to explore any Azure service for 30 days. And it 25 plus services available always free. So let's look into the Azure subscription. Azure subscription is a logical container Azure subscription is it is a logical container used to uh, provision resources in Microsoft Azure. It holds the details of all the resources like virtual machines, databases, etc. Azure offers free and paid subscriptions options to suit different needs and requirements. The most commonly used subscriptions are free subscription. Which What is free subscription? It was, as I already said, and you can pay as you go, and enterprise agreements, and it is student. It is a student version, and every Azure subscription includes free access to billing and subscription support. Azure products and services documentation, and online help, self-help documentation, and community support forums. So now we can able to state the difference of pricing model of Azure. Here are different pricing model of Azure: BYOL model, free software trial, usage based, and monthly free. If it is BYOL model, it brings your license model. It is just tied to access the model. You can obtain it outside of the Azure marketplace. This model is not charged any fees. And free software trial it is a fully featured version which is promotionally free for a limited period of time. However, for excessive use, you need to pay fees. And the next one is usage based. These widely used model for Microsoft Azure. Here user are charged for only that service which is used by them. And the next one is monthly fee. Here you need to pay a fixed monthly payment for a subscription. So Microsoft offers multiple ways by which one can buy Azure subscriptions. On a high level, there are the three channels. The three channels are enterprise agreement, open license program, and Microsoft partners. So what is Azure subscription? As I already discussed, as the name suggests, a subscription refers to the logical entity that provides entitlement to deploy and consume Azure resources. Wait a minute. Okay, now so we look into the what is Azure subscription. Uh, it is as name suggests, it is refers to the logical entity that provides entitlement to deploy and consume Azure resources. Imagine Azure subscriptions to be like prepaid SIM activation with or without credit, depending on the type. These can be free subscriptions, pay as you go, postpaid subscription, and prepaid credit carrying subscription. A subscription fuel the Azure resources in a customer tenant. Everything will suspend or halt if the subscription carries zero credit, unless the subscription is the postpaid pay as you go subscription. Multiple subscriptions can exist within the same customer tenant. Each subscription can independently fuel different set of resources within the same customer tenant. Subscriptions can be come from different purchase channels and can coexist independent of each other. So you can all the see the types of services, uh, that was app service, function, event grid, and we can able to see the continuation of the service. And these are all the purchasing options, and we can able to do by web direct and cloud solution provider. Factors affect cost resource type is that yeah, so the usage that a meter tracks and the number of meters associated with the resource depend on the resource type. So you can able to see the service location and zones. A zone is a geographical grouping of issue regions for billing purposes. So pricing, if you see the pricing calculator, it is a free web-based tool that allows you to input Azure services and modify properties and options of the service. It outputs the cost per service and the total cost for the full estimate, and the total cost of ownership TCO calculator. If you are starting to migrate to the cloud, a useful tool that you can use to predict your cost savings is the tool cost of ownership calculator. TCO helps you estimate cost savings realized by migrating to Azure. The best practices for minimizing Azure cost spending limits. Spending limit in Azure exists to prevent spending over your credit amount. All new customers who sign up for the trial or offer that include credits over multiple months have the spending limit turned down by default. That spending limit is actually $0. It can't be changed. The spending limit isn't available for subscription types such as pay as you go subscriptions and commitment subscription plans, and quotas that are Microsoft Azure limits, and it can able to see the tags that you can use to group your building data. For example, if you are running multiple virtual machines for different organizations, use the tags to group usage by cost center. You can also use tags to categorize cost by runtime environment, such as billing usage for virtual machines in the production environment. When exporting building data or accessing it through building APIs, tags are included in the data and can be used to further slice your data from a cost perspective. And if you look at the reserved instances, it is purchased in 1 year or 3 year terms, with payment required for the full term upfront after it's purchased. Microsoft matches up the reservation to running instances and increments the hours from your reservation. Reservations can be purchased through the Azure portal, and because reserved instances are compute discount, they are available for both Windows and Linux virtual machines. And Azure Cost Management is another free built-in Azure tool that you can use to gain gather insights into where your cloud money is going. You can see historical breakdowns of what services you are spending on your money on and how it is tracking against budget that you have set. You can set budgets, schedule reports, and analyze your cost areas. You can have the different types of plans such as developer, standard, professional, direct, and premier. You can see the more details in the slide. So available support channels outside are uh, Azure Knowledge Center, Microsoft Developer Network forums, Stack Overflow, Service Fault, Azure Feedback Forum, Twitter. So how to open a support ticket? You can open a support ticket by clicking on Azure portal. Next, follow support and new support request. So the Azure Knowledge Center is a searchable database that contains answers to common support questions from a community of Azure experts, developers, customers, and users. You can browse through all responses within the Azure Knowledge Center. Find specific supports by entering keyword search terms into text entry field, and further refine your search results by selecting products or tags from the list provided by two drop downs. And the service level agreement. Formal documents called service level agreements capture the specific terms that define the performance standards that how to apply for how to apply to Azure. And SLAs describe Microsoft's commitment to provide Azure's customers with specific performance standards. There are SLAs for individual Azure products and services, and SLAs for also specify what happens if the service or product fails to perform a governing SLA specification. And if you see the private preview, this means that an Azure feature is available to specific Azure customers for evaluation purposes only. This is typically by invite only and issued directly by the product team responsible for the feature or service. And the public service, this means that an Azure feature is available to all Azure customers for evaluation purposes. These previews can be turned up through the preview features page as detailed below. So how to access preview features? You can activate specific preview features through the preview features page, where you can see the link on the slide. This page lists the preview features that are available for evaluation. To preview a feature, select the try it button for the relevant feature. Another preview area which you can try is the next version of the Azure portal. Use the URL above in the URL in the slide. So, general availability. So, once a feature has been evaluated and tested successfully, it might be released to customers as part of Azure's default products. This release is referred to as a general availability. And monitor future updates. The Azure portal, what's new, like on the help menu, provides a list of recent updates. You can periodically check to see what's changed in Microsoft in Azure. Alternatively, you can use the Azure updates page. So these are all the references which you can try. I think the slide is visible to you, where I will give you some links. You can use that for the more references. So up to now, thank you for patiently listening, and thank you for so much for attending this session, guys. And if you have any doubts, please free to ask and comment in the comment below. So thank you so much for attending. Now I'm leaving. Thank you. Bye.